All right. Chuckles.
Yeah, yay.
What up, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm honored, bro. Thank you for inviting me on this show, man.
Of course, man. All right. Let's just start from the very beginning. I always do this. Very, very top of the list. When did you start rapping?
For the first time I ever started rapping was back in 2006 at the age of 14. Back then I used to listen to a lot of old school like gangster rap music that my dad will always have in his CD collection. Until
Mm,
eventually when I got into middle school, I started to get involved with a lot more genres like metal music and other type of music. So one of my homies introduced me to ICP
mm.
basically. So that's what really like got me to start listening more to that wicked shit more often until
Okay.
eventually I started listening more to their influences like Isham. And that was the main artist that really got me to the rabbit hole where it got me to more of that horrorcore shit. So when I started listening to his music from Booming Words from Hell to Kill the Fetus,
Mm.
that's eventually led me to more to his group Nodis, and that's what really inspired me
Yeah.
to want to rap right there.
Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. Fucking Nodis and Isham are the shit, man. So I get that for sure. It says, and forgive me if I'm out of touch, but I mostly when I do my research on people's music, my first place to go to is Spotify. And I
Yeah.
noticed you only got two records on Spotify, starting with Disturbing Hits in 2017 and then Mind of Evilness in 2018. Did you put out records before 2017?
Oh yeah. My very first album that I released was back in 2013 called Demon Side. The reason why I
Okay.
haven't got the chance to put it on Spotify because I have certain songs from that album on Disturbing Hits. It's more like a combination from like older shit to like the newer shit. So hopefully
Okay.
I'll get it on Spotify.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. I get that. I get that for sure. And you have a bunch of merch out.
Yes, sir, man.
Where's the best place for people to go and get your merch?
For anybody that want to buy some evil gear, I got my official merch site called www.chuckles.bigcartel.com. So if you ever want to like have hard copies, t-shirts, bandanas, stickers, all that goodness, you can definitely check out that site and I'll be sending them over to y'all.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So for those out there that might be listening that don't know who you are, I mean, aside from Isham and ICP as good descriptors, describe your sound to them.
For my type of sound, I'm more to like what I always prefer my music as evil shit. The reason why I always say evil shit is because each song that I put out is basically talking about the shit that we're going right now in reality, basically. Like if you turn on your news, there's a whole bunch of craziness that's already like going up, like someone getting murdered out in the streets, accidents, fucking politics bullshit and everything, and the
Mm.
weather. But yeah, I
Yeah.
always do. I always want to mix that into like more into the hardcoreness of music, basically mix that with like hard with the harder sound and everything. So that's my style of music what I go for.
Dope. Hell yeah. No, I fuck with that, man. It's super dope. I got introduced to you by Freak Show by Jay.
Oh yeah.
When he did that Brothers of Chaos thing with you. You guys still working on that project? Like the EP or an album for it?
Oh yeah. Me and him, we're discussing about some beats and everything. We got a few beats in the works as we speak, and we're just going through lyrics and the writing process. But yeah, it's definitely going to be coming out. We're planning on trying to get it out by the new year or 2024, if possible, by the first start in the year. We're just
Mm,
like going through each of our projects and our albums at the moment and these
yeah.
upcoming shows. So we got everything going.
Dope. Dope. So I know this episode is dropping on the first, but I know you're doing a show opening up for Shaggy Two Dope. I saw that flyer.
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about that show for? I mean, I know the show hasn't happened yet, but by the time this episode comes out, it will have already happened. But the details that exist, do you want to share with some people?
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to Shaggy Cheeto, by the way, and DJ Clay
Hmm.
for getting me on that show. So I reached out to when the moment I saw the flyer that he's going to be on tour, and I noticed that he's going to be coming back to the Bay Area, San Francisco. I immediately reached out to DJ Clay and say if there was any like slots open for that event. And thank God, because he's the homie, he sent me the contract to what I need to do and everything. Signed that bitch,
Hell
and
yeah.
your boys automatically signed to the show, man. So I'm fucking prepared.
Hell yeah, you're gonna kill it, man. You you murdered the stage for the Kung Fu Vampire show, which is where we officially met too. So
Yes, sir, man. Thank you very much, man.
of
That show
course, of
was hell
course.
popping.
Yeah, that show was dope as fuck, man. Um, Lots of cool people that night. Since we were on the topic of albums, you said that you have a new album dropping this year.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it.
For this coming fall, me and DJ Little Sprite are officially putting out an album together called Horrors from the Unstable.
Okay.
I've been working on this project for at least a good 3 years or so far, and me and DJ Little Sprite have been good homies for like good amount of 10 years. Like he and I met each other since 2014 when I was starting to come up and everything. So he pretty much like helped me evolve from my style with his beats, and he's a very well known producer. He's the one who produces a lot of beats for Snow the Product for her projects,
Oh,
and
dope.
yeah, because before he did that, he used to do a lot more like devil shit, Memphis type of beats and everything. Like when we first started off, we were doing more of the horrorcore shit, but now he
Yeah.
evolved. He wanted me to start branching out to more heights and everything. So he's been sending
Okay.
me beats left and right and everything. So we've been discussing like what we should do for this project and what we should make it sound and everything. So this particular project, I wanted to make it more like you read the books of the scary stories to tell in the dark, right?
Yeah, I remember those books. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you remember when you read all the chapters, they have all certain different story wise. Like the first chapters were like jump scares, and then when you reach forward, the other ones are more like true story type of feels and everything. Then it restarts to funny type of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read them in such a long time. I really don't remember that much, but I do remember like the artwork and stuff. But yeah, no, it's a good reference for sure. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to Yeah, I wanted to make it more like kind of like that type of project for it. So you'll still hear like the horrorcore shit into the album, but eventually like three songs will be more darker shit. Then the next three songs are more like creepy type of style. Then eventually you're gonna hear more like hardcore, like metal type of sounds to energetic to
Okay.
meaningful type of styles to it. It's kind of like reading like a graphic novel type of feel to it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm with it for sure. Um I guess that answers the next question. My next question was going to be what was the inspiration for the album, but that's it right there. Are you doing anything, I mean, aside from that, are you doing anything different audibly than you did with your last projects? Because it's been a while since you dropped an album. So like is the engineering different, or is there any, are you doing it, is it all homemade, DIY, or what's going on there?
Oh yeah, so for this album, I want to make sure it's not like the same like Mind of Evilness, because for my last album, it was like like a straight evil horrorcore album. I
Mm,
wanted to like I wanted to more like branch out of that type of genre and do something like more newer. Like I said before, like you'll still hear like the evil shit and everything, but a new style, more flower to it, because I've been wanting to like branch out for so long. I wanted to make it more like meaningful type of style, more of aggressive, more like
mm.
the shit that you'll bounce to and more like get the feels for it, you know what I mean? So that's the type of energy I like for this new
Hell yeah.
set for this new album.
Hell yeah, I fuck with that. Um, do you do you have any singles out for it already, or are you holding it all under wraps until the release?
So far I have I think three singles out for it. So the first one I released was the Her song,
Okay.
and the last one was Contagious featuring Cody Manson. Shouts to Cody Manson with
Yep.
LSP and
Hell yeah.
Strife Life.
Hell yeah.
And the last one was Don't Sleep.
Okay. Okay, dope. Hell yeah. I'm still getting caught up on your whole discography and everything like that. I've been so goddamn busy, man. I'm behind. I'm like Like to the last few days, I just started like bumping all the music to make sure I was as caught up as possible. But I've been fucking running around LA, fucking hitting up all these record shops to get my CDs on the shelves and stuff like that. So like, forgive me if I'm just a little behind on what goes where and correlating to what. So I'm
It's
working
all
on it.
good.
I'm working on it.
All love it.
It's all love, man. But it. Your music's fucking dope. I gotta say that, which is why I'm happy to have you on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Of course, man. When did you start doing the mask?
Eventually when I started doing the mask, was around between 2012 to 2014. Because originally when I first started off with the Chuckles imagery, I used to rock the face paint a lot. So
Okay.
eventually it was like I wanted to start branching off to the mask more because around that time I see a lot of people were coming up wearing the face paint mask and everything. People were going to think that, oh, he's just another ICP ripoff or K Crusher wannabe type feel. To the point, it's like, all right, I'm gonna start switching it up to make sure that I ain't that type of guy ever with my music. So,
I feel
original
that.
mask, yeah. So the original mask I made myself was like an old Jabberwocky type of mask, and
That's cool.
I would trace my face paint over with like paint sharpie and everything to eventually it was more like a whereabout, like in case if I don't have the face paint, I could just rock that shit on.
Hmm.
Till eventually when I wanted to get more professional wise, I hit up my boy Kevin Shrednip, who's from Holland, who made my very first mask, was had horns, had barbed wire around the face and everything, then escalated more to like the style of it. But only problem was for it, it couldn't really move around the face because I wanted something like if I'm going to use this on stage, I want to make sure if it's like usable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your mouth isn't constricted and the fucking microphone doesn't get all muffled and shit.
Exactly. It
Yeah,
took a
yeah.
yeah, it took a very long time to find that right mask maker until fast forward in time around 2017. That's when I met up with my boy Ron Sample, who custom made my master you see to this day, who makes a whole lot of like metal bands for in his country of Philippines and everything. Until eventually I reached out to him to see if he couldn't make a mask for me for my music, and he immediately became a fan of my music when I showed him my style and everything. So he
Oh
went
yeah.
straight to work with that, and the shit fits like a motherfucking glove, and I love it.
That's dope, man. Yeah. I fuck with masks, man. I fuck with masked rappers, dude. It's just I don't know what it is. Every time I have someone on, I'm like, dude, like something about the mask thing. I just have a soft spot for it, man. Just something the anonymity and like the fucked up craziness of the mask and what you can get away with saying up on stage with the mask on. It's just I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like it's dope as fuck.
Oh yeah, it's like a second skin, you know what I mean? It's like you
Yeah,
can be
yeah, yeah.
yourself underneath it and just go fucking wild with it.
Yeah, I used to wear a mask up on stage back in like between like 2012 and 2014 before everyone was doing the luchador mask thing, but then a bunch of different people started doing it, so I dropped it, but like so like I know the feeling of getting up there in the fucking mask and just rocking the stage and it's great. So like I love when I see an artist do it, man. Like stick to it, you know.
Yes, sir, man. And this will never change. I will still rock
Hell
that
yeah.
mask gang for sure.
Hell yeah. So since we're talking about background and history, how'd you get the name Chuckles?
All right, so this is gonna be a dark but funny story. So the original name, how I got it, was years back when I got into a fight
Mm-hmm.
with this fucking bitch ass kid who that always would fuck with me every motherfucking day, like every day. Until that point where it's just like I blacked out because we reached that point where we can't take that shit no more. We just like, all right, we had to defend ourselves, or this guy's gonna keep fucking with you.
Yeah.
So the moment it happened was I was at lunch or something. I was just all by myself with a few friends and everything. And this motherfucker will always like take my shit, my lunch and all that, to the point I just fucking snapped and I just tackled his ass in the field ground and everything and started wailing his ass and started laughing to his face like he would do to me. Until all of a sudden one of his boys pulled me off and said, "All right, Chuckles, back the fuck off and shit." And that's eventually how I got that name. Eventually, it's from a fight.
Hell yeah, that's dope though. That's a good way to get it though. You know what I mean? You earned that shit.
Yes, sir. Violence was the name that really brought that started it all.
Hell yeah, man. So it's true to form. It's true to form.
Yeah. Back then, I was like a fucking violent kid. I would always get into fucking fights until like eventually from elementary to middle school to high school, and eventually when I graduated, it's like I try to keep it calm as I possibly can.
Hell yeah. So you're from San Jose. Are you born and raised there?
Born and raised.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You like it up there?
I love it. You know what I mean? It's like the only place I would rather be than anything else. Even though it's expensive as fuck to live over here, it's like fucking like 3,500 for rent over here because
Ugh,
it's the
yeah.
popular it is, the more expensive it gets. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to leave it to anything else, though.
Yeah. Living in LA, man. I get it. It's similar to the Bay Area. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Shit. It's
California dreaming, but at the same time, it's a nightmare. At the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people that it's worth it though. There's so much opportunity and so many people out here, man. It's like,
Oh
I
yeah,
got I got, back to this what I was talking about earlier. I was hitting up record stores. Like I got boys over on the East Coast. They're like, dude, there's no record stores out here anymore. And I'm like, I'm hitting up every record store in LA. There's like 40, 50 of them, and they're all taking CDs and shit like that. So like, there's different opportunities out here, and it comes with with the price of living out here. So
exactly. And thank God over here too. We also have like record stores too, so we still got
yeah,
that vintage shit over here. So I'm happy with that.
yeah, hell yeah, man, hell yeah. Any music videos dropping?
Music videos. I'm currently in the works of something new that'll be coming up from the new upcoming album. And eventually me and Spec One, shouts to Spec One, we're gonna think about trying to get a music video for Smash Your Head very soon. So definitely
Okay,
be on the lookout for that shit right there.
hell yeah. Shows Gorefest.
Yes, sir.
You got booked for Gorefest, man. Congratulations.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you very much, man.
Of course. Is this your first Gorefest?
This will be my sixth time. It's
Okay.
hard to check that.
So you've done Gorefest a lot. See, again, I'm like I've only just found out or about you over the last year. So it's all new to me, man. It's all new to me.
Yeah,
So
it's all love.
yeah, I'll love for sure. You like Gorefest then, I'm assuming. I've
Oh,
been wanting to fucking go to Gorefest forever. I've seen it since I've heard about it, I think, in 2015, and I just haven't had the opportunity to go out there.
oh, dude, you have to come out to Denver sometime, dude.
Dude, I
It's
want to.
Yeah, Denver is where it's at, man. And shouts to Scum for putting that together. He's been doing
Yeah.
this shit for decades. And it's like to me personally, it's like my own personal gathering, even though I
Mhm.
haven't not ever been to the gathering of the jugglers in my life, and
Mhm.
hope to wish to. But to
Yeah.
me, Gorefest is always like a treasure to me because the first time I ever got to perform out there was back in 2017. Gorefest 12 was my very first one, and the first time I got to perform out there was the difference. It was like I almost like lost a whole lot of breath during my first song because the altitude is so different compared
Yeah,
to
it's 5,000
Cali.
feet up, man. 5,000 feet up. I got an aunt and uncle and a grandma that lives out there. So I've gone out there a few times, but I need to use that as an excuse to make a trip for Gorefest, man.
Hell yeah, man!
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely worth it. Yeah,
for sure.
in each Gorefest I've been to, it's always been like a memorable story. You know what I mean? There's been like insane moments. There's been crazy moments. There's been dramatic but
Let's
lovable stories.
You want to talk about some of those? What are some of the more memorable things?
Um, Mostly when it comes to craziness, I mean, of course, I've seen some like crazy ass fights that happen out in the front and everything. Because we,
Okay.
if to those who have never been to the Roxy, because the Roxy is in the hood basically
Mm.
in Wilton Street, but Scum always makes it work no matter what. Because a lot of big names like ICP, Twisted, Ouija Mac, everybody goes to those venues and everything. And
Mhm.
I mean, even if artists from Strange Music perform there, it's to me, it's personally like a dream come true. Because ever since I discover about it, since like fucking high school days, I've always said to myself, one of these days I'm gonna fly out to Denver and do it. And
Oh yeah.
Scum booked me onto that show, and I just feel like it was a major accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. I've been wanting to do Gorefest. Maybe one day, maybe next year I'll do Gorefest. I don't know. But even if I never perform there, I gotta go one of these years, man. I've been itching for it. So
Oh yeah, man. Reach out
I
to Scum anytime, man, for real.
mean, if anything, I want to get him on the show and interview him on the podcast for sure. So, it's a good reason to hit him up. But this is in August, right?
This will be in September 8th to the 10th.
Okay. Okay. So a
It's like
little dope. And how long is your set?
I'll be doing a 15-minute set. First day I'll be performing on Friday, but it's only for two features. One was Spec One and Freak Show.
Hmm.
So hopefully my ass is not exhausted until
Hell yeah.
Saturday. But I'll be doing like a 15-minute full set.
Hell yeah, man. That's dope. Um, how'd you get linked up with them?
Um, with a Spec One and Freak Show.
Yeah, we'll start there, but I also want to know how you got linked up with LSP. I like knowing the history of the music shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The first time I ever just linked up with LSP, I think back in 2011, I believe, when Dark Half was around, RIP the Geno Cole shit, you
Yeah,
know what I
rip,
mean?
man, rip.
Yeah, they were the first LSP artists I ever got to like collaborate on my first album, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
getting to talk with Gino too on the phone too was awesome too. I wish to this day, I wish I could have met him in person, but he
yeah,
and I would always communicate with each other on Facebook or we would talk to each other on
mhm.
the phone. You know
Yeah.
what I
Just
mean?
another shout out to them, dude. Graveyard Blues is one of my fucking favorite horrorcore albums, man. It's so dope, dude.
It's by far the most beautiful horrorcore album to this day. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Definitely.
oh yeah. Eventually it was them. Then I started to link up with Scum on A Mind of Evilness. And he was the first artist I ever got to open up my very first show back in 2016 and everything. So getting to
Okay.
meet him too was awesome. He's super down to earth, most humblest guy I've ever met. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And that's when I met the whole camp was around Gorefest too. So that's when I started linking up with everybody there. They really helped me grow as an artist as it is because I've been seeing them grind like every fucking year, like
Hmm.
from shows, tours, the merchandise, and made me want to increase my level of my imagery and my music. You know what I mean? So they've
Yeah.
been super helpful, super humble. You know what I mean? Shouts to everybody there.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta respect the fucking love and hustle that Scum has and all the love that he shows underground and horrorcore artists, man. It's sick, man. It's sick.
Yes, sir, man. And
Yeah.
motherfucker is a godfather for a reason because he's been doing this shit for decades, man. And
Yeah.
I remember when he first started off, it was used to be like on a average like record label until that motherfucker like raised that shit into like a goddamn empire, and that's insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nothing to be trifled with. It's super dope, man. I fucking lots of respect and nothing but love to them, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, man.
So when did you get linked up with Freak Show?
When eventually reached out to him, I think it was in 2021, I believe. He and I reached out to each other because of Dangerous D. Shouts to him because
Okay.
he and I did a show together for Shaggy Tudo back in 2019 for the Fuck the Fuck Off Motherfucker tour in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks to my homie Joe Killmeister, and he was a sideshow freak show performer. And
Mm.
when I was performing on stage rapping, he and Joe Killmeister were fucking putting their hands through like bear traps and shit, ripping the Bible on stage. And this dude would put like heavy weights on his earlobes and fucking would
Jesus.
swing that shit while I was rapping on stage. And it was insane. It was a never show.
That's dope as hell, man. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. So he actually reached out to me on Instagram in a group chat because originally the song Chaos was supposed to be me, him, and Dangerous D, but Dangerous D he couldn't be able to do it because he had a show coming up and everything. So his schedule was super busy. So it's like fuck it, let's just both of us do the song together. And eventually, when he and I recorded it, and it was became a most memorable song to this day. And that's when we started linking up, do
Fuck yeah.
shows. I think the Rock the Doc show was our very first meetup and everything. So it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's dope.
Yeah, and I love him like a brother.
I just went brain dead for a second. We're talking about shows and like dope moments and stuff like that. Just overall, because I know I asked about like some memorable moments for Gorefest, but what are some of your favorite show moments ever? Like, what was like one of the best, or even the worst shows that you've ever experienced?
First, I'll start with the positive before we get to the craziness.
Okay, okay,
Um, I think the best like memorable moments, if I had to say one of them was, I'll say my first, second Gorefest. There was this homie named Rekashire who I'd known for so many years. He lives in Wisconsin, and he's been wanting to see me perform for so long till we finally met up. His
yeah,
girlfriend, I think his girlfriend at the time used to make masks and everything. So they came up to my table and they gave me this gift for me and say, "Hey, bro, I know you've been trying to look for a new mask, or I know you love masks. So my girlfriend made this custom mask for you, and she made this mask that was looked like my first T-shirt design with the eyeball peeking out and everything. It was so
hell yeah,
fucking insane."
dude, that's fucking dope. Do you still have that?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh shit, that's fucking sick, dude. Hell yeah,
dude, it was fucking. That's my major treasure because each Scorefest I'll get certain gifts, but I would say that was top number one for sure. You
dude.
know what I mean?
That's fucking sick. Hell yeah, man. Like, and did you know them beforehand, or you said
Oh yeah, I'm mostly through social media wise, but
yeah,
until
yeah.
eventually until Gorefest that we first met up.
Okay, yeah, that's cool as fuck though. So about that worst show, let's hear about that.
Oh my God. I mean, there's been crazy ones, but I'll say the one back in 2021 was the show called the Sour Patch Kids show in Berkeley, basically.
Mm,
All right, so the worst one, I always put that as the worst because eventually we were supposed to have this whole ramen dinner thing before we started up. But me and my boys at the time, we got there a little bit early because we didn't know if Berkeley was going to be hella traffic up and everything. But by the time
mm.
we got to the venue, it was supposed to start at 5, but nobody was there. Like nobody was there at all. So we waited for like hours till it was almost like 9 o'clock until eventually people started coming in and everything. At first, I was like, "Fuck this, we're just gonna be out." But at the
Mm.
time, it was some personal shit happened, but we're not gonna discuss about it though. It was
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah, yeah.
craziness. Um, so when I finally got to perform and everything, because let me describe about Berkeley. Berkeley is like the hippie cousin of Oakland, basically.
Okay.
So they're not really into the wicked shit unless you see like Tech Nine perform there or anything big names. So
Mm.
so
Yeah.
when I was performing my song on stage, I was getting the groove and everything until eventually when I got to my second song, and I was like, "Y'all ready for some evil shit?" And everybody just like left the room and everything until I had like 3 or 4 people like watching my set in the
Ugh.
end.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah. I wasn't tripping though because I know I was gonna offend a motherfucker at that show eventually.
That's how it is,
Yeah.
man. I remember I did a pot festival up in Oregon, and I was doing some of my horrorcore shit up on stage, and everyone was just stoned staring at me, deadpan, not moving, nothing like that. There was one guy who was wearing like a Slayer shirt and long hair, and he was like one of the older dudes. Like he was bobbing his head, but that was it, dude. So I was just like,
Aw.
like I know that feeling, dude. All these like hippie stoners looking at me like I'm killing their buzz and shit, dude.
Yeah, but hey, that was more comedy as it is. And by the time I got off stage, there was this one chick who left out of the room but came up to me and say, "Oh my God, your set was so amazing. I loved it." I wanted to talk shit to her and say, "Bitch, you were the one of the 4 or 10 people that left out of the rooms. Like, get out of here with that shit, you know?" But I was like, all right, it was thank you very much and everything. Until I said, bro, let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I
I
mean?
feel, I feel, I feel, man, for sure. Yeah, fuck, man. Yeah, I know that feel like it happens. But have you ever gone on tour?
Not yet, but hopefully for next year for sure. Because I've been wanting to like get on the road for so long. Because I've been hitting up a lot of messages and
Hmm.
everything. There has been opportunities that reached out to me about wanting to do a show. Because eventually I was trying to get on Kung Fu Vampires, the Black Card Machine tour, but at my
Hmm.
job at the time was so strict and everything, I couldn't be able to get on that shit unless it was like at least a couple of weeks or so. But hopefully
Yeah.
for next year, we'll definitely get something together and something going.
Hell yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And then, well, if you do, me and Freak will fucking throw a show out here for your fucking tour, but uh, get you out here in this area again. Yeah. So you said you never been to the gathering.
Oh, never, never. But hopefully for next year for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm on the same fucking boat right there. I'm trying to get in.
Yeah. But as for show wise too, like I have traveled though outside of Cali before too
Yeah.
and did more shows.
So other than Denver, where have you traveled to for shows?
For shows, I've done a couple shows in SoCal. I have done two shows in Las Vegas, Nevada,
Hell yeah.
and I did two shows in different cities in Texas. One was Madison Mayhem 5 in Haltom City, and last year was for Razakel's show, the Holiday Massacre in San Antonio.
Hell yeah.
And I would have to say that it's like between like Texas and oh, and last year I performed in Gallup, New Mexico too for Slaughterfest. That was an amazing
Oh,
show
that's
too.
dope. How is Slaughterfest? I've heard about that one more recently, but I don't know much about it.
Slaughterfest is a festival that my homie Bloodshot puts together with him and his crew down at the Juggernaut Music. Shouts to him for
Okay.
hooking me onto that show. And Gallup is an amazing show, man. Everybody in New Mexico in general loves that wicked shit. They love you like family down there. It's
That's
straight up
dope.
straight native country for real, you know what I mean? But they
Yeah,
love it
yeah.
down there.
That's fucking dope, man. Hell yeah. So what? I know you said you got tour plans and some other stuff planned for next year, but what are some of your big goals that you're working towards right now?
Bigger tour, bigger goals. Basically, of course, I want to definitely get on tour and the gathering for sure.
Mhm.
I really want to like push her more to newer heights and everything, like start working with bigger artists in the game that I've been wanting to for so long and just like branch branch myself out more, you know what I mean? To show people what I
Yeah.
can put to the table, you know what I mean? Because I've been doing this close to like I've been doing this for 17 years. When August 1st, I'll be reaching my 18th goal and everything. So
Hmm.
I'm definitely wanting to like get more serious attachments with everybody. You know what I mean? Just like living it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I mean, you're definitely making the right moves. Like when you had that when I saw you at that show, you had the booth with all the merch and everything, and then fucking, you're traveling out for Goy Fest and everything like that. So you're making all the right moves in the right places. So I gotta say, like, it's only up from here, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir, man. It's a slow process, but the more you keep putting your hard and work and dedication to it and being patient, the opportunities will come. You know what I mean? Some people might
Yeah.
think that it's never going to happen to them, but the more you stay positive with yourself, you don't think about the bullshit, don't get involved with nobody else's shit, the more you're just going to grow. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work and dedication, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years now, so like I'm starting to finally get my footing. And people will be like 10 years, and it's like, man, sometimes it takes people 30 years to like get there, you know what I mean? It's all dependent on the person and what they can do, but it's fucking so fulfilling, you know what I mean?
Exactly. The moment that hits you, that means you know that fuck yeah. So this is the goal. This is the dream that I've been wanting to do. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes sir. So you watch horror movies?
I love horror movies.
Of course you have to. The man in the mask has to love horror movies, you know what I mean? But what are some favorite horror movies of yours?
If I had to give a top five, Nightmare on Elm Street, that's number one. All the
Okay.
series all together is I can't pick out which parts because they're all of them are good.
Okay.
Number two, I'll have to say Evil Dead, all the series including Army of Darkness.
Hmm.
Number three, I'll have to say Terrifier. Terrifier 2 included because that motherfucker was gory as fuck.
I still haven't seen Terrifier 2, but the first one was brutal, man. It's brutal.
I know the first one too was like hella brutal, especially when that bitch was hanged upside down, getting sawed in half. That was some crazy shit.
It's
That's
so
like
dope.
balls to the walls type shit that people are scared to do that type of shit, but
Yeah,
they
but
went balls deep in that shit.
it works and they make money on it. So, but proceed, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, if I had to say third, I'll have to say Hellraiser, and the last one, if I have to say, The Shining for sure.
Okay. Yeah, The Shining's fucking solid for sure. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm so behind on Hellraiser. I didn't watch the first two Hellraisers until this year.
Oh,
Until this year. And I still haven't seen the rest of the series. So like I am so far behind on that.
yeah, it's such a great series too. I haven't like it took me a long time too to catch up with the newer reboots and everything till I
Yeah.
finally got time to do it. It was definitely worth it because when it comes to like remakes and reboots, I'm not a fan of it because it sometimes either people will fuck up the storyline or they will do some changes that nobody's forte. But it
Mhm.
depends on how who directs and how they put it together. I liked it. You know what I mean?
Did the reboot of Hellraiser come out this year or was it last year?
Think was last year or 2 years ago for sure.
The most recent one with the chick pinhead.
Oh, yeah, that was last year. That was
Okay, yeah.
definitely
What
last year.
did you see that one? How'd you feel about that one?
That one was actually pretty good. I actually appreciated it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It
think that was the
it
first one I watched. Yeah, and then
oh
I
yeah,
would and yeah, go on.
yeah. I would say that reboot was good. Like the Evil Dead reboot version was actually shockingly good because
Mhm.
eventually I was like, what the fuck is this type of feel to it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even for the new It movie too, is like I love It too because you gotta love Tim Curry. Who
yeah.
doesn't like Tim
The
Curry?
Tim Curry's terrific, man.
Hmm. But compared to him and the newer It, I feel like the newer It was more like more sinister and more crazier, and Tim Curry was more like the comical like version to it. But you can't
Yeah,
overpass the original. But both versions were hella good. I'll
yeah.
say the first chapter was good, but then the second chapter was like, I
I agree with that. The first chapter was super solid for the reboot, but then the second one was like, yeah. Something about
yeah.
Bill Hader is just I don't believe him in a horror role.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just like
Yeah,
something so different, and I feel like there were more games and more CGI-ish than
yeah,
actually have him as the character alone with the makeup. You know what I mean? Because that would kind of pour it all down the hill.
yeah. I agree with that. It is what it is, though. You know, it was dope, but you can't. I don't think you could beat the Tim Curry one. But okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
if you had to recommend one horror movie to somebody, which one would be?
If I had to recommend any horror movie, I'll say a Serbian film.
Oh God!
No, no, no. Scratch that shit. I would never recommend nobody with that shit. But
They
if I
try
had
to
to say,
traumatize people.
oh God, man, that's how it, it's funny because I love the beat for it from Keep the Heads and Eat the Rest, but
Mhm.
overall, I wouldn't recommend nobody with that movie. It's like unless you are a real hardcore type of like balls to the wall type fan of that, I would.
Mhm.
But if I were to say something more equal but crazier, I'll say Terrifier for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, Terrifier. I think is a. I mean, Terrifier is brutal, so I don't want to call it tame, but I don't know if it's. It doesn't go as far as fucking Serbian film in some regards.
Ugh,
So
'cause I've seen some fucked up films, but I would say like that one in particular alone was the most fucked up. I had to literally have to give a break and had to walk out or had to skip some parts because some of them were too
look at
much.
the sun for a second just to make sure. Yeah, I know what you mean. Get some fresh air. Yeah, that
Oh
one's
god.
that one's hard as fuck. I think I had James Joyce the Squatch on a handful of episodes ago, and he said the same thing when I asked him. He was like he said something about a Serbian film, and shit's funny as fuck, man. But
I mean, it's like, and the worst thing too, if you're watching it while high, oh
mm.
my God, that is the worst feeling ever. To the point it was like, who the fuck made this type of shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was really getting into like watching all those fucked up movies. I was like a teenager, like getting stoned, just watching like all that shit and August Underground and all that stuff. And I was just eventually I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I need to take a break. I need to take a
Yeah,
break from these fucked up movies.
yeah, that's even me too. Like when I was like in my early 20s and everything, I was always that type of kid. I was always loved the fucked up, like crazy, like bestgore.com type of feel.
Yeah.
So eventually, like the more you keep seeing that type of shit, eventually it's gonna affect your mind to the point of depression, to the point it's like, all right, this is too much now. I
Yeah,
can't do this no
man.
more.
I was getting depressed. I was like starting to see the world in like such a fucked up light. I was like, dude, the world is fucking dark, dude. And it was there's times where I'd see that shit or think about that shit, and it would make me sick to my stomach. And like I had to take like a break from like brutal like gore. I think I took a break from like just gore horror in general for like a few years, man, because I was just like not to say that I don't love it still, because I can still watch it. It doesn't, I'm jaded now, but like at that time when I was a fucking kid, you know what I mean? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go touch some grass.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You know what I mean? Explore the world, like watch cartoons and be happy
yeah,
again.
well, I
You know
watch
what I mean?
some stoner comedies for a second, make lighten up. But
Yeah, man. It's I
no,
totally feel you on that.
it'll do it for sure. But
Oh man.
have you ever thought about uh playing like a killer in a horror movie, like an indie film or some shit like that?
That's actually another main goal too. I've been wanting to do that too because
Okay.
I've been because I have so many ideas for like wanting to be in movies and everything. Because when Kung Fu Vampire would tell me like stories, like he will meet up with all these like horror movie legends and everything, like even the director from Saw and everything. It was like, fuck, man. It's like
Hell yeah.
I really want to get into like connections with those two. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
I've always wanted to be in like horror movies or like in movies in general to see what I can pursue with that. You know what I mean? And just
Hmm.
explore more to it too.
Yeah, just push that bar and see where you can go with it.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. I just figured since maybe you got the mask, maybe you'd want to be like a serial killer character in a fucking some flick or something like that. That'd be pretty sick, man. Chuckles the
Oh yeah.
Killer. A movie called Chuckles, where you just be killing people and shit like that. That'd be sick, man.
All the
I've
homies in the music game been telling me that. It's like, bro, when you can start doing your own shit like that, you know what I mean? It's like,
you should, man, for reals, Maybe start with a music video and then Kickstarter it or something, you know what I mean?
oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
man. We'll definitely get some work for that too. Like when you first see my music video, "Murder is the Answer" with me in class when I was working
Mhm.
with Jimmy Don. Because when I look at things, I'm more of a visualist than as a like a writing script. Because what I can picture, I can see like, okay, I can see like this person's walking down this hallway and then something pops up to like this and that because it's more easier for me to look at it, like visualize it, than write it down. Even though some people will like prefer you to write it down in the script because it's more memorized, but to me, it's like easier. Like it pictures out, okay, this person goes right here and do a chase scene to this scene right here. So
Mhm.
we we definitely work with that idea too, and it just popped up like that.
Hell yeah. That's dope, man. How was working with Class? I haven't heard much of his new stuff lately, but I remember I was a big fan of like Underground Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah, Class is the homie, man. I love him to death. Like the very first time I ever got to check out his music was like Tunnel Runner days. I think
Oh shit,
that
yeah.
album, yeah, Tunnel Runners was actually the album that really brought me more to like all the artists in the underground, from like him to Jay Reno to King Gordy to Kid Crusher and everybody.
Mhm.
But him alone was like I liked because I both will work with like with Shy One too, and Shy One's another influencer too that got me to do music too.
Hell yeah.
And the style that he does is more that hardcore, like rugged style too. And just to meet
Mhm.
him at Gorefest, he was very humble, super cool dude.
That's dope, man. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. You got any more I mean, I know some of it's probably under wraps, but you doing any other like collab projects with people?
Oh yeah, me and well, I wouldn't specifically names, but I got super secretive collaborations for the new album that we're going to be doing for certain artists. But the people who I've are on the album, if I can give out three names. just a
Mhm.
little sneak peek.
Yeah, of course.
Um, Cody Manson will be on the new album,
Hell yeah.
and my boy Steven Angel, who does my tattoos, who's a super close friend of mine, he's gonna be on that album, and Razakel will definitely be on the new album as well. So much more new names that will definitely be popping up.
Fuck yeah, man. That's sick.
Yeah,
Trying to
and
think. Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Um, Other projects too, it's like I've been wanting to work with other artists in the game for so long, but as soon as I get everything going on, I'll definitely announce them very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to burn anything out too far ahead of time, but I like to get the scoop if I can. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else specifically you want to cover that we haven't covered yet?
Besides music, I also do comic books too.
Oh shit. Okay, let's talk about comics then for a second. I got questions and opinions
Oh
about comics. So talk
yeah.
talk about the comic that you do.
So me and my brother Madwu, we collaborated on a comic book series together called Chuckles, the Headhunter Chronicles. How it got started was back in 2000. Well, eventually me and him linked up around I think 2015 at the time, and he and I wanted to do something like I like comic book ideas because he loved my imagery and my music. But by the
Hmm.
time I was super busy with music, I couldn't be able to like focus in on that until eventually in 2020 when we all got hit with that pandemic with COVID and everything. I couldn't be able to reach out to my engineer at the time because at the time they wanted everybody to stay at home. They can't be outside or anything like that. So
Hmm.
me and him linked up pretty much from that and said, fuck it. If I can't do anything musical wise, then maybe you and I can definitely do this comic book series together. So he and I will come up with some ideas and everything. Like he's the artist of all the artwork that I'll do, and I'll come up with the writing and the storylines to it. And he and I would put it down on pen and paper, and he will write it, draw it to the comic strips and everything, and it was awesome. Originally, the first volume was like 15 pages because we wanted to give like a feel to the audience to see if they fucks with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So,
you have one out already?
oh yeah, definitely on my Big Cartel side, the first one and second volume too.
Oh hell yeah. So yeah, yeah, go on with what you were about to say.
Yeah. So when we first released the first volume, immediately people loved that shit to the point where it was like, okay, now we can like people really fucks with this shit. Now we can start pushing up for more pages. So the
Hmm.
second one, I think it was like to 148 pages for the second volume. That's when we put like a whole storyline to it.
Shit, that's like a full graphic novel, man.
Yes, sir. Like
Hell
the
yeah.
second volume, we wanted to like because his ideas was let's see if Chuckles will be doing a retake like on Treasure Island or his version on
Yeah.
Johnny the Homicidal Maniac type of feel for it, or any
Okay.
type of styles that we like, and say, oh, let's throw this person into this story. Kind of like Deadpool, like he's in every fucking like chapters, even if he's not on Marvel or anything.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
like that
yeah.
feel for it.
Hell yeah, that's dope. So you got two volumes out for that?
Yes, sir.
You do it, you working in you got more in the works for that? Or are you taking a break on it?
Uh, we're definitely going to release volume three, hopefully by this fall, because it took so long to get the third volume done. But it's all finished and everything. It's just our original publisher in his country is he lives in Thailand. He's an Englishman from the UK, but moved down to Thailand for
Okay.
foreign exchange student. Our original publisher he suddenly passed away, so we couldn't be able to like find somebody else that was like capable to do it until finally his wife found somebody who's gonna finally help us with the publishing to get the right printings and everything. So
Hmm.
soon as we get the monies raised up, we'll definitely get volume three released for this year.
Fuck yeah, I gotta check that out. Do you have a digital copy or is it all physical copies right now?
All physical copies.
Okay, that's dope. Fuck yeah, man. I might have to collect that shit. I like to collect comics here and there. So I know you said like Deadpool and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and stuff like that. What are some of your uh inspirations comic wise? Are you a big comic fan?
Oh, I love comics, like comics to mangas, everything.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like I think it's one of my main influences. I would say mangas more because it's more characteristic, especially like the crazy fucked up like horror ones or like with the crazy characters and everything. That's what my main attraction is.
Yeah.
Especially especially with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Funny thing too is the artist who did those comics and Invader Sim, he lives in San Jose, California.
Oh, that's sick. Hell yeah.
So when I found that out, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! There's somebody crazier just like me that's in the same
Yeah.
city." You know what I mean? Because I'll always love the insanity type of style of comics too. Like even
Hmm.
from like the darker shit from Marvel too, like even Batman too. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
like yeah, when it comes to like DC, Batman's the only one I mostly love more than anything else because his shit is more darker than any other superhero. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Can't go wrong with Batman. So who are some of your favorite like comic book authors, or what are some of your favorite comics?
For Arthur's, I'm a huge Junji Ito fan. I love his
Yes.
mangas.
I got I got a big old fucking Ito poster up on the wall over there.
That's the shit right there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He has to be at top number one for me because his shit is so fucking like dark. They'll give you type of nightmares type shit for it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I love Ito, man. He's fucking dope. Anyone else you want to name off?
Him and second artist, I'll say Hinishi Hinu, who's a old school manga artist who did Panorama of Hell. Originally, some of his works was on Flowers of Flesh and Blood, that crazy like snuff type of
Yeah,
over
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. The guinea pig series.
Yeah, the guinea pig series. He was the guy who did the chopping and everything. So he
Oh shit. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
yeah, his works too was hella grotesque and crazy. So his was my favorite. I love Stephen King, of course. I love his books. Um, Alvin Schwartz because of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark,
Yeah, yeah.
and for comics, I'll say Frank Miller for sure. Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Frank Miller, yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna have to put you on to Ed Piskor if you don't know who he is already.
Oh, Ed
Um,
Piskor, yeah, he's
yeah, dude,
amazing.
I love Red Room and the Hip Hop Family Tree and shit like that. It's one of my top shits. But definitely check that out if you haven't checked out. That shit is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, that's dope, man. I might have to cop one of those fucking books.
Oh yeah, dude, I got you on copies, brother.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Damn. Okay, so I think we covered mostly everything then. So I got before we wrap this up, I got two last questions that I always ask everybody.
Oh yeah.
Shout outs first. Is there anyone that you want to just specifically shout out? I know we every episode I say this, but and everyone always shouts out people throughout the whole episode. But if you want to just give some love to people you already gave love to, or give love to people you might have missed.
Oh yeah. First of all, shouts to you for having me on the show, brother. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for everything. Shouts to DJ Little Sprite, my main beat engineer, my homie Mohammed, who engineers through all my music, Grady Finch for masterings, LSP, GRE, Blind Death Clothing, and pretty much the whole entire underground scene for helping me get to where I am today. Because if it wasn't for the scene, I would have been dead a fucking long time ago. Because music itself really saved my ass, and everybody encouraged me to keep pushing this shit. So if it wasn't for them, I would have been nothing. Thank you all for everything.
Word, man. Much love to that. I agree. I agree there. Do you have any words of just and I can it's kind of a two-part question, but you could lean one way or the other. Do you have any words of advice to anybody that might be an artist that's just getting started, or just life advice in general if there's something that really moves you that you heard recently?
Oh yeah. For any upcoming artists that really want to push this shit to the limit to make this their full career and everything, just like go for it. You know what I mean? It's like I know there's gonna be a lot of people or they're not gonna fuck with you from the very start. Cause look at me, it took me a long time to get to where I am, but the more you put in hard work and dedication to it, the more you're gonna grow to your shit. Especially that being an independent artist, you have to put in work, you know what I mean? Or build if you have homies that really want to keep you going, like build a street team together, you know what I mean? Get something
Mm.
going out together, you know? Always and savor your money. Savor your motherfucking money because I know the more you keep doing this, it's time consuming, it's money spent. It is not cheap doing this music career at all.
No.
but but the more you stay positive with yourself, don't get feed into the negative bullshit. And just remember, haters are your number one fans. The more they talk shit, the more you're in their motherfucking heads. So use that as inspiration as well. You know what I mean? But still fuck them at the same time.
Yeah, for reals. I think it was Cannabis that said every time a hater thinks about me or talks about me, it's a coin in my motherfucking meter. You know what I mean? I think he says,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's like the saying goes, it's like if you're not making haters, then you're probably not doing something in your full potential. You know what I mean?
facts for reals, man. Well, perfectly said, my friend. Perfectly said. So I think we can call it there. Thank you again so much, Chuckles, for coming on. Everybody definitely check out Chuckles' music on Spotify, YouTube, uh, Bandcamp. You said you have what is the big cartels where you get your merch and have your merch on and everything like that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely go pick up his comics, his CDs, his t-shirts. He's got that Fuego Flames shit, man. It's dope. It's fire.
Nonstop evil shit, man.
Hell yeah,
Close to
man.
18 years, man, and we're still keep on grinding and pushing it.
Fuck yeah, man. And keep it up. Don't ever stop.
Thank you very much, brother. Love you to death, man.
Of course, love you, man. Hope to see you again soon.
Hell yeah. Evil
All
shit.
right. All right. Peace, man. You have a good night.
Love you, man.